Welcome back to Crestone Podcast Radio, CPR, your lifeline to the true news, right here on God's green earth. I am sitting here with an update on the P.O.A. Pelican brief that we started way back in the day. And we took some time off to be able to do some more research on the things that need to happen and the things that are now coming up, because we all know that there was corruption in the past, and corruption moved on from us, but now we see possibly more corruption happening now into the future. And a lot of you bitch and complain about, hey, this is old news. This is back in 2014, 2013, 2016, all that stuff. But now I'm going to tell you, it's actually could be happening right now. And there's no one better, no one other that could tell you and explain it better than Beardo Sandy. And he is in studio today with us. Welcome back into the studio on God's green earth, Mr. Beardo.
Thank you, Cal. Well, it's we're back by unpopular demand.
Unpopular demand, yes, sir.
So, Jeff, we're back, and as you can see, we put a investigator noir here, and now I'm going to another sprite. We're back by unpopular demand, and so, but here's a little bit serious for a moment. We got to keep it light. That is important. And I want to add a little spice to what you, Jeff, just said. Corrupt. It has adopted a new meaning into English, but it from Latin comes from breaking. Corrupt is when you take something that you need somebody to associate with such rapture, because the word rapture also comes from rut, that is part of the corrupt. So now, some people are going to be the first time that they're watching the Pelican Brief. And the reason why we call the Pelican Brief Part 2 is because it's an homage to the book, The Pelican Brief, which became a movie. And now we're going to get started. And I'm going to need this now so I can see what's going on. So what gave birth to this episode is a community meeting that we had on May 21st, the first day of Gemini. So how did this start? I had an invitation on my email, and it's to participate on a community conversation. And look at this. Look what it says on top, board meeting. And now I'm going to a new sprite here. And the board of directors is focused on the topic of low-income housing affordability within our community. And which one is our community? The Baca Grande.
Correct.
Right? So here's the Zoom tag of our invitation. And but there's a major problem with that. And I'm going to use my Bible. I have a private Bible.
I got that Bible.
Well, but mine is...
the old one.
And here's my Bible. My Bible is the covenants. Here's how I know the covenants, like the back of my hand. So if you go to Article 3 of the restated covenants, and it has the section 3.1.
Yes.
And I'm going to get a underline here. The section 3.1 talks about the terms and provisions are here established. I prepare another sprites to be easier to read. To protecting the value and desirability of our homes. So, and that's not the only section in a covenant. If you go here to sections 5.2,
Yes.
and I'm going to underline here in the next sprite, is the value and desirability of our grounds. Now, here, um, here's a big question. Why is the board concerned with low-income housing when its duty is to protect our property value? Okay. So there are, I think, 3 sessions, or in this case, statutes in the Kiowa. One of them is right here on top. You can read it. I'm not going to say the number. But you can see that that session is underlined, is to the obligations of the board is to protect our property values. I'm going to go to another part of Kiowa. And also, the second part is the definition and purposes is to protect our property values. Notwithstanding, the powers of the associations under Kiowa is to carry out the purpose of protecting the property values. And remember that we had on our bylaws, we have section 0.5 purposes.
Correct.
Is value and desirability. So I have a little cherry on the top. There is no such a thing as informal board meeting. All meetings are board meetings. If you have at least 3 board members, it becomes a board meeting.
Correct.
So there's no such a thing as informality. And if you see the sprite here, I used the 3 Kiowa statutes, just telling you that there was no such a thing. But why is that important? Because the main purpose of the show today is to impeach a compounded statement that was made during that board meeting. As I can see by Kiowa, there is no such a thing as informal board meeting. So may I go back?
Yes, sir.
So we're talking about low-income housing, and I'm going to show you 3 famous cities. This one may be familiar to you.
Telluride, yeah.
And this one is also one that I hope to visit one day. It's called Monte Carlo. And this one is a city and is also a country. It's called Monaco. So here's my question to you and the audience. Why aren't Telluride, Monte Carlo, and Monaco worried about low-income housing? So this today episode, we're going to talk about that conflict of interest. And we have a friend of the show, a recurring person.
My favorite, one of my favorites. One of my favorites, yes.
And so here's, at first time, I learned about his name and what he came here for and became part of the board. I sent him a little short letter, and it was a cease and desist letter. And I sent to him on February 20th, 2023. And basically was a collection of, you can see here, 11 documents and the board meetings of when he was nominated for the board, and a lot of other documents to show him a little history of what he was getting into. But the main reason why I sent that to him is because in 2023, I already saw a conflict of interest of Mr. LeRoy West and a corporation called New West Homes, LLC, based in California. So now we're going back to the future here. And the future is today. And then we can see this web Zoom meeting, and we're talking about low-income housing. And now, look, conflict of interest, right? So, the Zoom meeting, I took a picture of the screen, and we have Jeff an audio clip of that we had in a meeting, and that's the main purpose of the show today. Can we listen to that audio clip?
But at the same time, if you whatever you want to build, I want you to look at that other guy around the on the room that has a laptop on his knees right there, and do a little research on that guy about his actually business LLC and how he has tiny homes. I want you guys to do your due diligence and look him up. Do your due diligence because he's gonna pocket. He's gonna make it. He's gonna make the money.
Oh, Jeff, forgive me, but I'd like to correct the facts. The LLC you're referring to and the website you're referring to have been defunct since COVID started. I've done no business whatsoever since COVID. So you're talking about something that hasn't existed.
Actually, I can debunk that as well.
All right. So here we have it. Important guest today. So what we're going to do is use his own words and impeach him based on his LinkedIn bio. And if you have LinkedIn account, you can go and you can watch it yourself. You don't
But
need-
I want to let everybody know that this is not the only lie that I've caught him on and on audio. So go ahead, Sandy. Back to you.
So basically, let's go back here. This is a compound false statement. And the false statement is that he has no business whatsoever. That's one. And the second one is that he doesn't have the corporations are defunct. So the
Correct.
corporations are not defunct, and he has business. So if you go back here to his LinkedIn bio, you're gonna see on his own words, his experiences, and a list of corporations that he and our president.
It gets deeper, people. Hold on.
So now let's go back to that part of the statement. I got no business whatsoever since COVID. So let's go back to his bio. So we have a corporation here called Max Kumal or Maxalol, and it started in 2023 to the present. And then we have another one called New West Homes that also was dismantled in 2024, which is also after COVID. And there's another corporation here called P.O.A, and that it was also terminated in 2023. But there's more. This is only the LinkedIn.
But hold on. Wait. There's more. There's more.
So the New West Homes that it was closed in California in 2024, it was reopened in Colorado.
No, really?
So it's called New West Homes Colorado LLC.
Wow.
I put the script a little bigger, and I also deleted his home addresses here in California and Crestone. But you can see here that in his part here, that the corporation was formed in November of 2024.
Correct.
Which is after COVID.
After.
So we're impeaching him.
And it's actually still current today.
There's more. So
Oh, hold on. Just wait.
There's a second corporation called New West Development Funds.
West Development Funds.
And look at the registered agent on the bottom. Could you read the name, please?
LeRoy West.
Yes. You forgot the Clinton.
Well, the C, the Clinton. Yes. Unfortunately, he's a Clinton.
So let's go back here to our quote, which is May 21st, 2026.
Correct.
I'm going to go back in time here in our time machine and show the articles of incorporation of Maximol. Can you see with me the date?
Yes.
So it's
Yes. 2026.
2026. So
Look at that.
before he made that statement, he became the vice president of Maximol.
Now, where's this business out of there?
So this corporation was formed in Wyoming, but also registered as a corporation in Utah, because that's apparently is where the headquarters is based. So that's why. And it's to my understanding, it's not registered in Colorado. It doesn't have to be, but it was registered twice. So here we have the impeachment of three corporations, two formed in 2024 and another one formed in 2026. Well, actually, I digress. Maximol is P.O.A. Remember the P.O.A.
Maximol bought Puna Pods.
So there was back, I'm doing this from memory, I think 2024, they changed their name from P.O.A. to Maximol.
Correct.
Now, I can go over, there's about 22 documents that I was able to download from the website, including his websites. Like, for instance, there's something called the DMS registration, where you register your domains.
Uh-huh.
I also have, so he has, let me go here in one of the pages, it's called New West Dwellings. This one has been going up since 2005.
And where's this business located at?
Well, it does.
This corporation.
I think, in my opinion, this is part of his pitch, in which he welcomes people to see his background.
Okay.
So I don't disagree that he may know a lot in prefabricated homes, but now all of these documents that we did on this first part is able to impeach the statement that he made to the membership, because it was a public meeting by Zoom, and to impeach the statement that he made to the board. So it was a false remark that he made to the community and the board. So we're going to cover that. Now we're in the second part of the show. And the second part is we already impeached the statements, the two positive remarks that he made in one short statement. Now, the Baca Grande P.O.A. was formed to enhance our property values. And also, in order for that to happen, the board members have to have 3 fiduciary duties, and they're listed here. So I'm going to do a little close-up here so we can read. Is duty of loyalty, duty of care, and duty of disclosure. So let's go to Kiowa, covering all of this. So you have the Kiowa number here, if you need to see. And I'm not going to bore reading you all of this, but in a manner that the director reasonably believed to be the best interest of the association. So, is low-income housing the best interest for the association? Or some people are having a hard time to import labor into Baca Grande? Right?
Right.
This is the question. Why Telluride it doesn't have to bother with low-income housing? Because they import everything from the region, from Montrose, Ouray, and all the cities around there. So it's not the preoccupation of our board to worry about low-income housing. So it is not in the best interest of the association. And that was an official board meeting. So the second part now we're going to cover here is the duty to care. Is that they take the position to also to make sure that we are wholesome. And this is the best way that the Colorado could come to that definition, and to be in a position to oversee the best interests of the association. And finally, the duty to disclose. So the duty to disclose is the conflicts of interest need to be disclosed. And now we're going to go back to my first email of 2023. And I witnessed Jeff bring it up, the conflict of interest. And several times you said, Jeff, I can debunk that. I can debunk that. And here I am helping you to impeach. So what we have here, we have a situation that the disclosure of a conflict interest is being hidden from us since 2023. So now we're going to go, Jeff, to my theory, okay? So as you noticed, I start using AI to do the sprites, and I tried to use this photo, and AI refused to use my face, but they rendered me into cartoon. Okay? So, and then I go, no, I don't want a cartoon face. I want my face, like in flashboard style. And then I got this. And then I like the blondie in there. So let me go back here. So what we have to is my theory of how we got my theory of how the P.O.A. presidency was purchased. And we're talking about Mr. LeRoy West again. So I have a question for the audience for my theory. If the guy has a bio in LinkedIn with 21 years of home purchases, home development, and prefabricated homes, why wouldn't he buy a lot here in the Baca Grande and just drop a prefabricated home? It would be his style, his home, and he would have enough money left to buy his own flying car, as you can see here on this sprite. So my point is here that the savings that he would have had he installed his own homes, it would have been maybe from $100,000 to $200,000. Instead, here's what we have. A reasonable capitalist would have to ask, why would LeRoy buy an overpriced home from Claudia Wolf when LeRoy's is in the prefab home business for 21 years? So why buy this when he can have this? So this is my theory, and it's not an allegation, it's a theory of the fast path to a presidency. Because here's what the documents show. He buys a home on October 29, 2021. Then within 4 months, on March 17, 2022, he's nominated as a P.O.A. vice president. Then he spends the whole year in California for 2022 attending the P.O.A. meetings by Zoom, and then the next year, he's the president of the P.O.A. What are the odds? So let's recapture here what we're talking about today. He has a bio on LinkedIn of 21 years of prefab homes. Then he opens 2 LLCs in Colorado in 2024. He owns Put-A-Pods since 2022, which is today called Maxo Mall. And then a week earlier, from making that false statement, he does not disclose his conflict of interest. And he has a meeting a week later of low-income housing. And instead of disclose his conflict of interest, he does the opposite. He denies any part or having any business whatsoever, as you heard on the recording. So now, Jeff, here's the thing. The P.O.A. board should be able to understand or should have the interest to have either go to Google at least once and put his name on the research of Google. And they would have discovered that he has been in a business. He has been having conflict of interest since he got in. And I'm not against a guy making a living.
Correct.
But we have those three things: duty to disclose, duty to care, and duty of loyalty, So, but Jeff, I want to close this, okay? So either the board had knowledge of West or they're ignoring his conflict of interest. So if the board is ignoring LeRoy West conflict of interest, what can happen to us is,
correct.
Number one, we may lose our tax exemption. So what it means is that every time people pay dues, the board has to pay income on those dues.
That is correct.
It's a protection of the 501c4. So basically, our dues goes up if we lose that. The other thing is that there is a nonprofit act. So the P.O.A. might be sanctioned by the Attorney General of Colorado and by the Secretary of State. And the number 4 is if the insurance underwriter discovers that the president of the P.O.A. has been having a conflict of interest since he was VP, an insurance rate may go up, or number 5, the insurance rate may be canceled. So here's what we did today, Jeff. We impeached his statements.
Correct.
We showed the theory of the path to presidency that was fast-tracked.
Correct.
And now we're showing that the P.O.A. may have violated the duty to care, duty to disclose. And by the way, that meeting that we had on the 21st about low-income housing needs to have a minute also registered with the county. So that's it. So that's why the Pelican brief is back. So this meeting, episode 14, the board is hereby notified of the conflict of interest. And now the membership is hereby also notified.
You have been notified. And everybody, please just stay tuned. We're working on it. It took a little time to be able to move forward. I got a lot of things on my plate. Sandy's got a lot of things on his plate. Stay tuned to episode 14 right here on God's Green Earth. I am your host, Jeff Winsett here, and I am the biggest pain of their ass, and we are the watchdogs of the P.O.A. and Saguache County. Woof, woof.